Now look, for 2004, GTA San Andreas was an absolute marvel in gaming with the amount of content that it packed. And while a lot of it has aged pretty gracefully, in many ways it's starting to show its old age. Today we're going to go through all of the major elements that make up San Andreas what it is, and try to bring them up to today's standards. All of that while preserving Rockstar's original vision for the game, its art direction and style of gameplay. As always, the full mods list is in the description, where you'll also find my installation notes. Any additional updates will be posted in a pinned comment below. Like always, we begin with the biggest mod, which now holds the name Rosa Project Evolved, a retexturing project that now includes thousands of lore-friendly and many handmade HD textures covering the majority of the game's map. While there's many similar mods that have tried this, there is no other that is as faithful to the game's art style as this one, with the authors going as far as finding the original texture packs used during the development stages of the game to ensure the truest rework possible. However, in the past year or so, the scope of the mod itself has expanded tremendously. Initially a map retexturing project, which is a big enough task in itself, it now also reworks cutscene elements seen throughout the storyline. Interiors have also been given a noticeable facelift, like the garage in San Fierro. For the first time ever, the whole vegetation has gotten adequate treatment of its many types and variations across the state. An important addition, as this is the only truly lore-friendly vegetation overhaul that I know of. And in the next part, there will be more vegetation-related improvements that will complement those changes. Apart from this, Rosa incorporates a variety of fixes, like the infamous golden gym equipment, which originally just uses a wrong texture, as well as many non-map related changes that cover pedestrians, weapons and vehicles, but more for each one later. In the meantime, a great companion for Rosa is a recently released mod pack called Proper Fixes, an all-in-one incarnation of older mods that aims to fix the many problems of San Andreas. And let me tell you, there are a lot of those, so let's begin with the actual fixes, such as the bad or straight up wrong pre-light of many objects and buildings, which make some of them to glow during the night and others to be too dark during the day. Thanks to these corrections, many places will literally shine in new light. A bunch of misplaced objects will be back in their intended spots, while more precise collisions will finally allow you to climb those fire escapes, which I'm sure you've been wanting to do since forever. Second are new additions, which mainly come from the console versions of the game. Those include the restoration of PS2 props like the ones outside the Four Dragons Casino, which make the place look awesome at night, and the inclusion of Xbox exclusive ones, such as this construction site in Las Venturas. Animated TVs and aquariums in Woozy's office, more parked vehicles spawning around the map, and other PS2 exclusive features are also present here. Last are what I describe as miscellaneous improvements, like the addition of more foliage in certain areas, the enhancement of some props like car wreckages, and other corrections that I wasn't sure how to classify. As mentioned earlier, also included are vegetation-specific improvements that, in combination with a few other mods, will replace the rectangular tree models with round ones, fix weird lighting issues on trees, and improve texture mapping, among other things. But perhaps the most significant change here is LOD vegetation. The most annoying thing in the vanilla game are trees popping out of nowhere.
Oh, hell no!
And that's due to a lack of distant models for most trees, which is exactly what this mod will take care of. A change that will also improve the game's landscapes, which previously looked empty from afar. All of that while preserving performance and allowing you to fly without getting PTSD. Nice! Earlier I mentioned pre-lighting, and there's a very clever mod that takes advantage of that system called Project Immerse Yourself. At the very basic level, it just illuminates storefronts at night to make them seem more lively, you know, as if there's someone actually inside. And this change alone makes a big difference in making some of the dark city streets more appealing. However, it doesn't stop there and allows itself to be creative. For example, this mama's place goes from dark and boring to colorful and eye-catching. Sprunk Incorporated will get its signature green look, but perhaps my favorite is the gritty industrial area baking in beautiful new lights. This is definitely one of the more creative mods on this list because its concept isn't anything new, yet it's very effective in making the city not only look better, but to feel like a place with a life of its own. As mentioned already, Rosa Project includes in itself a full-blown retexture of every vehicle in the game. These changes are most noticeable on vehicles with liveries on them, like the iconic monster truck, the flames on the hot rod, and emergency vehicle decals such as those on the fire truck. Of course, all the paint jobs that you can get in the mod shops are included, so whether you like waves on your Uranus, flames on the hood, or I guess rectangulars on your Elegy, this mod's got you covered. Accordingly, every car interior has gotten a facelift, which will come useful when we add a first-person mod later in the video. Another great mod to enhance the vanilla experience is Revamped Vehicles Project. What it does? Well, also a lot. For starters, it adapts vehicles to both improved vehicle features and vehicle functions, the combination of which will add turn signals and hazard lights, significantly improved headlights and reflective taillights, rotatable steering wheel, and even functional windshield wipers during rain, all of which apply and can be used by both the player and the pedestrians. It also adds rounder wheels to vehicles, which might look like a small thing, but it does make a difference, and the cool thing is that it doesn't apply just to cars. And yes, tuning wheels are included as well. Although Insanity is the best looking mod for CJ, it's also the most unfinished one. My recommendation therefore has to go to proper player retexture. Without exaggerating, I'm telling you, this mod includes everything. Every body type has been retextured, all of your favorite tops, all of your favorite bottoms, shoes, accessories, the tattoos look great and no longer like blurry blobs, as is everything else in between that hasn't been mentioned so far. The rest of the characters though are a bit of an Achilles heel in the San Andreas modding scene, cause nobody has ever reworked all of them, there are just too many. However, what has been done is an AI upscale plus mobile hands, a result which is unsurprisingly pretty solid considering how far upscaling has come, especially when done correctly. Looking at you, Grove Street Games, this is definitely the most uniform approach that you can take. Of course, if you don't mind some inconsistency, you can add Ezekiel's character models to the mix, which have an obvious advantage over a simple upscale, but still resemble very much the originals, so they won't feel too much out of place.
We own you, you're ours. We can shit on you from such a height, you'll think God himself has crapped on you.
Hey you, are you tired of seeing the same person over and over again?
I ain't got all day.
Do you see them every way you look?
People say I give my production secrets away.
Introducing original Peds Varied. So instead of pedestrians having one singular texture, this mod will give them several alternative ones that they will spawn with. The result is a more diverse world with less repetition. Instead of seeing the same pedestrian over and over again, you'll now see 3 or 4 or even 5 different versions of them. Even better, Pet Tweaks aims to restore a few unused pedestrians sitting in the game files, mainly in terms of the law enforcement. So instead of sharing the same police biker, each city will now have its own unique one. The desert and countryside will also have separate sheriffs, while deputies will patrol in Red and Flint County.
Come on, I'm bored with this.
There's also additional dealers on the streets, a new taxi driver, and it restores the infamous home brain script, which will see homeless people behaving themselves inappropriately in public.
There you go, Uncle Brother.
The gameplay is regarded as one of the strongest aspects of San Andreas, but I think we can all agree that there are certain things that could use some improvement. Like the whole combat system, for example, starting with the addition of weapon recoil for more challenging shootouts. Being able to manually reload is also a thing that I've personally always wanted to see in the game. Also, if you found it annoying that you're unable to run with some weapons, well, that's actually a disabled feature. Story sprinting re-enables it, allowing you to sprint with all the rifles and most of the heavy weapons, each with its own unique animations and properly adapted for the different body types, as well as entirely new ones added when jogging with one-handed weapons. Pet Skills is generally intended for hardcore gameplay, but there is a light version that will only slightly improve the firing range for pedestrians and improve their accuracy as well as their senses. Raising the stakes further, Cops Drive-By will make it possible for officers to shoot you from their vehicles, much like in the mission Reuniting the Families. From a 4-star wanted level onwards, each unit with its respective weapons will blast you from their car windows, making the pursuits much more interesting and involved. And if you haven't noticed already, bullet holes now appear on the different surfaces depending on the weapon and material. Okay then, that's for the shooting, but what about getting up close and personal? Well, combat improvement and melee overhaul will improve the fist fighting abilities of pedestrians. They will now block your shots, interrupt your combos and fall down less often. The player's hits now also deal smaller damage by default, which gives you an incentive to work out more in the gym to improve your power. Otherwise, you skinny jeans are getting beaten up.
Damn it! The bastard's mine!
While on the road, you probably have noticed that cars driven by pedestrians move and behave rather oddly and robotically. And that's because they don't actually use the car physics which apply to the player. Real Traffic Fix will correct that to give traffic a much more natural feeling behavior. There's many other features here too. For example, pets will drive faster on straight paths and slow down for curves. They won't switch lanes right in front of you. Larger vehicles like buses or trucks will keep to the right lane only, and drivers can detect and avoid obstacles more intelligently. To make traffic even better, trucks and trailers will add, well, trailers to trucks. Yep, you'll also see damaged or crashed vehicles being towed away, while at airports baggage will be pulled by utility cars. On the road you might get passed by an emergency vehicle going in some unknown direction, which is great for increasing immersion. Although this guy doesn't seem to be in much of a hurry. As with cars, we know that trams aren't the smartest either, and like the trains in GTA 5 are absolutely unstoppable. Clever trams will humble them a little so they actually stop in front of obstacles and at red lights, cause traffic rules are for everyone on the road, even you cyclists. Finally, some quality of life and world improvements will replace the slow animation when changing clothing with a much more convenient GTA 5 style approach. Similarly, an interaction menu will allow you to add or remove accessories on the fly, cause after all you shouldn't have to go to the wardrobe every time you want to put some sunglasses on. Also, I'm sure you can navigate the map well enough already, but a functional GPS when using waypoints and the option of zooming in and out of the radar are always nice to have. And as to the pedestrians, a combination of a few related mods will give them the ability to buy food, use some objects around the map, lean against walls and get on a taxi.
My daddy's rich, now drive!
For homeless people to trash garbage bags, and for cops to be able to react to other people's crimes and not only the player. At last, because everyone asked about this the previous time, a first-person mod. Now, I personally haven't felt the need to use one, but San Andreas is definitely a good choice for an FPS perspective. Thanks to its diverse locations, a variety of different vehicles and many gameplay features, it opens up the possibility for a lot of fun from an entirely different perspective. At the end of the day though, this is just a recommendation, so skip it if you don't like it.
I hate gravity!
When it comes to vanilla-like graphics, the obvious answer is SkyGFX. Unfortunately, many people only know this mod as the PS2 graphics one, while its options go way beyond that. For starters, it's got some of the best vehicle reflections available. Mobile-like or custom, they excel beyond anything that ENB can offer in terms of accuracy, quality and integration. In the new extended version of the mod, there's also finally a fix for the repeating textures in the game. The new stochastic shader smooths the transition between the repeating patterns, making them look like one seamless whole texture. Another exclusive feature of this mod fixes the game's transparency issues. Most noticeable in trees, it also causes weird lighting issues, changes the outlook of many objects, and from a distance even causes the disappearance of some like the electricity pylons, all of which gets fixed by this one single mod. And even then, it leaves you with plenty of other options to choose from. Whether you want the nostalgic PS2 color filter or the diffused look of Vice City Stories, this mod has all the things you need to make your game look the best it can be. A perfect match for Sky GFX therefore is real Skybox. Unlike the old static ones, this one is in fact dynamic and changes throughout the day. Each set of weathers now have their own unique look. Sunny weather has beautiful puffy clouds, while cloudy and rainy weathers are covered with dark skies. As the day drags on, weathers and their respective cloud formations will seamlessly switch between each other. Just like the PS2 versions, as the day goes by you'll see different moon phases. Another small detail will make areas with more light pollution like cities to have less stars compared to countryside areas where the night sky is drowning with them. To top it all off, we can't forget about Project 2D effects, which will increase the game's draw distance and add LODs to all light sources. A beautiful combination with everything up until this point. Jumping from the graphics to combat effects upgrade, what can I tell you? This is the most impressive effects mod currently available, which isn't just another GTA 5 clone, and at the same time isn't as over the top as other similar mods. It has some very unique explosions and particle effects with impressive quality depending on the source, and thanks to integration into other scripts you get more exclusive features like oil tankers leaking when shot, vehicles catching fire in different places, and custom muzzle flashes that look beautiful in slow motion. Speaking of weapons, I already mentioned that Rosa Project retextures them, however, no matter how well it's done, none of it comes even close to next-gen remaster weapons. Formerly known as Insanity, you just know the quality is going to be impeccable. And it is. The new models look stunning, the small imperfections are mind-boggling, and even from up close, detail isn't lost. As I rotate the camera, you can even see some reflections being casted on them depending on the material. However, the mod isn't focused on weapons only, but also items and pickups. As such, it is the only mod which also replaces the jetpack with a new one, upgrades not only cutscene weapons but also certain objects like the basketball, phone and others, and gives the same quality treatment to all the pickups in the game, whether that be collectibles, mission specific ones or else. Finally, we come to the interface where a combination of just 3 mods will replace in HD the whole menu, all the loading screens, heads-up display, map and all the other in-game interfaces. It's pretty much the whole package concerning the UI. And with that, 3 months of work are done. If you've made it this far, then thank you for the patience and for appreciating the effort that went into making this video. One last time, I'd like to give a shout out to my only Patreon supporter, Kinsey, for not leaving despite my bad uploading schedule. However, I have decided to close my Patreon soon after this video goes public, and instead anyone who'd like to support me can do so directly through YouTube's new Super Thanks feature right below the video, or just by hitting thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, both of which already have a massive positive impact. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in 6 months.